Hey, it's Adam here, and this is Enta Wonders. Today is a very solemn and special episode. Today, we're wondering about Delivering Happiness by Tony Hsieh. I hope I'm saying that right. I read this book last year, and I never met Tony, and I never interacted with him, although I would have certainly loved to at some point. But I read his book and I read his story, and he was somebody that I would aspire to be. You know, what he helped create at Zappos is what I want to create at Enta Solutions. And I guess I saw a lot of myself in some of his story, and which is why this is so solemn, because last week Tony tragically passed away at a young age of 46. So taken from us too soon, but he certainly had an impact while he was here, and obviously to more people than he knew. So Delivering Happiness, I mean, it's the story of Zappos, which is an online store where you can buy shoes or clothes or whatever. And it was, you know, the success story is that it was sold to Amazon for like $1 billion or something. But what's interesting about the book is what happened in the story about how they did it, because in the beginning, you know, they had nothing. They had a couple investors and they scraped by, and it was month to month. And, you know, one of my favorite parts of the whole story is, you know, they had a department that did drop ship, which means someone buys something from you, you run over to the store, buy it, and send it. So someone else is sending the product, you're just really processing the order. And they said, even though it was the most profitable part of their business, and a business that was essentially had nothing, they said, you know what, we can't control this service, and we decided that the future of Zappos is delivering the best service anywhere. And if we can't control that, that's not who we are, so they shut it down. So how crazy is that? So that, you know, that's just kind of what's such a cool story, right? This power of faith and belief in what you're doing and who you are. You know, and Tony has a really cool definition of the science of happiness. The combination of physical synchrony with other humans and being part of something bigger than oneself, and thus momentarily losing a sense of self, leads to a greater sense of happiness. So essentially being part of something greater than yourself makes you think about more than just yourself. And, you know, I already alluded to before, but he had this idea that you envision, create, and believe in your own universe, and the universe will happen around you. And I really believe that too. Like, you make it happen, right? The most successful people I know cause the universe to mold around them. And what's really cool, and I hadn't heard this before, is something called Packard's Law, which says that a great company is more likely to die from indigestion from too much opportunity than starvation for a lack of. So interesting. You know, it's funny, in my business, I can really see that in, you know, growth, you know, success defeats you sometimes. There's some little cool things, like Tony, you know, was known for his human, call it experiments, his human resourcing, you know, just phenomenal ability to be creative. And there's 3 examples that he brought up that I thought were just amazing. So one is a book club. So if you want to have a book club at work, put a big leaderboard or poster on the wall, or do it online or whatever. People's names, list of books, put a star next to it when you read it, and then give out prizes if people win, or like certain amounts or whatever. We at Enta actually started emulating that a little bit, and we give a free audio book to our employees every month to read. The other one is a culture book, and this is really cool. So invite everyone to talk about what culture at your company means to you. Good or bad, printed as is, like fixed typos or whatever, but that's it. And then you publish it and you give everyone a copy. And you do that every few years. And how amazing is that? Good, bad, ugly, it all goes in there, and it's a book, and it's like everybody has this book, and it's the identity. I'm a part of this thing. Like, what an amazing, powerful way to bring people together. And the other one, which I thought is so cool, and especially for companies that have, you know, multiple offices or lots of people where you don't know everybody, But what he instituted is when you log into your computer, you put in your password, and then a picture of someone will come up, and you have to put their name in or answer a question about them to log into your computer. And if you get it wrong, no problem. Their profile will flash up with some details about them, and it's random and it's different every time. So every time you log into your computer after it goes to sleep or locks or you leave, whatever, you're getting kind of a poof, hey, there's Joe from accounting, or there's Wendy from marketing, and you really get to connect, constant connection, and I really like that. And one of Tony's biggest pieces of advice for the best customer service is making wow a verb that is part of your company's everyday vocabulary. So at Enta we call it the epic filter, right? Is this wow enough? Is this epic? Is this thing we're doing, is it wow? No? Okay, well, let's make it wow, right? Like that's the idea, and I really love that. The next part is really cool. I hadn't heard of this, but so for individuals, character is destiny, and for organizations, culture is destiny. And he talks about this thing called a fractal. A fractal is any irregular shape for which each part is similar in shape, whether you're zoomed in or zoomed out. The structure looks the same whether you zoom all the way in or zoom all the way out. And that's what he's talking about, individuals and culture, right? Like companies are just people. So at the most basic level, it's a single person and their beliefs, and then you zoom out to the culture of the company, and it should look the same. It should reflect the people. And I love that symbology. And then lastly, it ends with a pretty cool quote that I liked by a guy named Carlos Castaneda, and it's we either make ourselves miserable or we make ourselves strong. The amount of work is the same. So do what Tony did. Find something you believe in and chase it. Be that guy. So Tony, thank you for all that you brought to the world while you were here. Thank you.